So about 3 weeks ago, I challenged the entire internet to do this drum cover with me. Almost immediately, I realized I'd messed up. This is hard! The tune was really hard, and not just at surface level, but every time I thought I'd conquered it, I'd listen back and realize, it's like a mountain where you think you're about to reach the top, then you get over the next rise and realize that wasn't really the summit. You just couldn't see the summit because the rise was in the way. When will it end? Anyway, the reasons why this drum cover was so hard, whether I think it might be one of the hardest on the internet, and what you're probably wondering, did I finally conquer it? All ahead. Stay tuned. What makes a tune hard? I've been asking that for over a year now. I was so personally offended that Caravan from Whiplash stood for Drum Matterhorn, as far as casual fans were concerned, that I made a video about it last year, asking what really makes a tune hard. In that video, I showed tons of examples of real-life tunes I believed were more difficult than Caravan, and shared some ideas about what actually makes tunes difficult in real life. Cars 1 is difficult for the same reason a lot of Tigran's music is. A bar of 3/8 and a bar of 5. Catching figures, then soloing over them, for instance. Good luck counting through all of the figures without a headache. I also got a ton of comments asking me about The Black Page or Bleed by Meshuggah. So where does this week's tune fit, and how did I come to choose it? This is I-10 by Eric Harlan from a record called James Farm, recorded in, I think, 2010. It came up in a random playlist the other week, and I remember thinking back to when I first heard it, and thinking, yeah, this is over my head. It had weird odd meters that were hard to hear in the arrangement, and lots of figures to catch. But listening to it again the other week, I was like, maybe it's time for a rematch. Like Inigo Montoya.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Or Daniel LaRusso. There was something else going on too, something that rhymes with Florentine, which may have made me overzealous with the whole challenge thing. When the dust had settled, I actually had to learn the tune. Here's the chronicle. I mentioned before that there were multiple false summits, where each time I'd think I conquered a thing, then it would reveal another summit behind the false summit. The first of these was the meter. It's got an intro that's in one odd meter, then so here it sounds like a different meter, then maybe the original meter again, or maybe a third meter. Then yet another meter. I was back to when I first listened to I-10. Just this twisty-turny tune, and it was really confusing. So, the first thing that makes it hard to learn is, you don't know how many different meters there are in the different sections. Is it 2 that repeat? Maybe 3, maybe 4. You're also not sure if these meters just repeat the pattern within each section, or if there are first and second endings and other weird surprises. So I did what any rational drummer would do. That's supposed to show time passing, because I had to spend a lot of... Anyway, I tamed the time signature beast, and the tune gods were merciful. Somewhat. I-10 has only 2 meters it alternates between, and no weird phrase extensions. Here's the first. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It's 3 bars of 3 and a bar of 2. Altogether, a big bar of 11/4. It's hard to hear, but that continues throughout the head. And through the sax solo. Let's quickly play that. 1, 2, 3. If that sounds basic compared to the real tune, get ready for false summit number 2. Now, here's the second meter of the tune. It's 2 bars of 4 and 1 bar of 3 for a grand total of 11. Yeah, I get that it's the same meter throughout, but check out the way Eric Harlan feels it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That's definitely 2 bars of 4 and a bar of 3. Here's me playing the basic outline. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway, this is the meter of the bridge and also of the piano solo. Sidebar, is this tune as hard as it could be? Well, at first blush, no. Take Announcement from my Caravan video. There are a lot more twists and turns in Announcement, and on the surface, it's a lot harder to memorize. So we got the meters. Easy peasy, right? Fuck! Here's what it sounds like if you just play the meters. Unlike with Announcement, just grokking the meters will not get you to the summit of this one. False summit number 2, the figures. Upon more careful listening, I-10 doesn't just have these 11-beat phrases divided between the A section and the bridge. It's got a repeating, syncopated bass line you have to catch. Because everybody else is catching it. Everybody else is catching it? Bad luck. And it's not necessarily easy to memorize. Like, here's a line from the bridge. I'll play it twice. See if you can pause this video and play it back to me. Go ahead, I'll wait. Anyway, it wasn't easy for me, which meant car montage number 2. The problem, and a lot of novices get this wrong, is you can't just be able to play these figures casually. You don't get a few bars to go, what was that again? Is this right? Okay, I've got it. You need to be able to play it immediately and instinctively if somebody slaps you awake in the middle of the night. Because that's what this tune is going to do to you. It's going to toss you in the deep end in a context you're not used to, when you're not even sure where 1 is, and you're going to have to remember that figure down to the core of your being. Anyway, after a couple more days of memorizing and internalizing, I had it. Here's the bass line in the A section. Now, let me play it on the drums. 1, 2, 3. More of a visual learner? Here it is written out. Here's the bass line in the bridge. Boom, 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 boom. boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. And here I am playing it on the drums. 2, 3, 4. Time to check in.
12:45. Restate my assumptions.
Was learning the figures the final summit? Was I-10 about to submit to my will? I'm playing this somewhat more sloppily than I would in real life, just to illustrate the next hidden summit. You have to be able to improvise over these figures with pro feel. Here's Eric playing. Now, here's me playing, intentionally playing badly a little bit. False Summit numero 3, Pro Feel. A few weeks back, I did a mashup of covers of Adam Rogers' tune Rumples from the Chris Potter Underground Band. The phrase Pro Feel refers to an intangible, the thing that makes Nate Smith's beat dance. While this cover falls short. Meaning there's a whole web of beats, offbeats, tension, and release that we collectively call feel or groove. It's possible for beginners to play the meter right and even hit the figures and still have the cover feel like amateur hour. Listen to the matrix of ghost notes Eric Harlan creates. To nail the pro level, I've got to play along with Eric and slot my feel within this, so we don't clash even though I may be improvising different things. That's hard enough when you've got studio mics and mixing chops. But it's all the harder when you're using bargain basement mics and GarageBand. So, how did I practice this? Well, I'd already memorized the meters and the hits so thoroughly I could keep it in my head while I improvised around it. So I just set the metronome on the last 16th and played it. Simple to complex. Here I am playing the A section on the hats only. I'm focusing on keeping the pocket solid and improvising more and more without losing the pocket. Now, here I am playing the A section with the hats on every eighth. I want to be able to slip in and out of this because the solo sections of the tune are pretty dynamic, with big dramatic transitions between loud and soft. As before, I'm focused on making the lockup absolutely clean. Finally, I made loops of the actual tune and just played along. So once I mastered this third summit, I conquered the tune for sure, right? Well, not so much. It turns out there are a number of spots where Eric Harlan played iconic fills. Spots where the band captured lightning in a bottle. Like this. If I don't honor these magic moments, I'm missing the opportunity to take my drum cover to the max. So, fourth summit. Magic moments. Here's how I practiced these. I made a list. I played through the tune until I got to an iconic magic moment. Here's another one. Then I'd loop it if necessary and make sure I was catching it every time. Now it was time to record. Yeah, buddy. So, how did I do? I'm happy that I did a decent job for the level where I am right now. And when I checked the internet to see if anybody else I challenged has stepped up, crickets. Of course, I'm just talking shit. I know you guys will come with it. But let's resolve that final question. Is I-10 the hardest drum cover on the internet? This is Lickety Split by the Vanguard Orchestra. I had to learn this tune my last year of grad school when I auditioned for the Army. Another story for another time. Lickety Split is, on the surface, harder than I-10. It's got more meter changes and there's no pattern to it. You have to read it every day for months before you can finally memorize it. Likewise, here's Out of the Grid by Tigran, one of my perennial favorite examples. Just like Lickety, there's a lot to memorize, and you can't really chunk anything together. But these tunes differ in one key way. What you see is what you get. Once you learn to play the chart, you're pretty much done. Whereas with I-10, you can learn the ink and still sound like garbage. Because it's so much about how you improvise over the tune. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Let me know in the comments whether you agree this is one of the more difficult tunes to cover or not. And if you've been watching the channel for a hot minute now, you feel like maybe you're ready to go a little bit deeper with me, I recommend my course, the 80/20 coaching course, which is like 6 months to a year of studying with me for around the price of a single lesson. We only open that up a few times a year, and we only open it up to our private waitlist. If you'd like to get on that list and also receive something completely free, I recommend you click the link below the player and enter your email address in on the next page. And I'll send you 3 videos that'll make your playing better in the next 3 weeks than it's gotten in the last 6 months. Dudes, it's been real. Always enjoy it. Peace. Oh, is there a sanitation truck? Please, don't mind me. By all means! New and experimental. I hope it doesn't kill us.